paid under coverages subject to aggregate limits would reduce the amount available for future losses to the point that no future claims could be covered. Aggregate limits can be exhausted, meaning you can run out of money to pay the claims, but are going to be restored every year at the anniversary of the policy upon renewal. So the limits for the coverage for liability policies which do not contain aggregate limits, such as the personal liability and auto liability, are going to be automatically restored after each event. So this is a little bit different than the other types of liability that we've previously talked about up to this point. There are different exposures for commercial businesses. We're going to talk about those exposures. Premise and operations exposures are going to arise from losses at the premise and due to their operations either at or away from the premise. All bodily injury and property damage liability losses resulting from either the insured's operations or premises are going to be covered under the policy, subject to the exclusions and limits under the policy. So an example of a premise exposure would be slipping on a slick floor in an office building or falling down an escalator of a shopping mall. An exposure an operations exposure, two examples of this would be a carpenter dropping a hammer on a person at a work site, or an installer that drops an appliance that cracks your tile floor when they're doing the installation. Products and completed operations exposures are going to come from losses arising from products and or completed operations of the business. Products exposures are going to be for those that cause any bodily injury and property damage away from the premise. For many products sold, examples would be Takata airbags, the Styrian, the Bluebell. And just FYI, even though you're consuming the food at a restaurant on premise, sometimes this will be called a products exposure. Completed operations exposure would be those that cause bodily injury and property damage after the job has been completed. Example would be a plumber that has a leak develop a year after the plumbing was installed, or a contractor like a mason created